Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Friday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather. And we've got a lot to talk about today with the upcoming ridge and some cooler temperatures coming up across the region, plus some showers over the next couple of days here before we get to those sunnier skies. So, starting here with the forecast with the satellite image here. This is the nighttime microphysics imagery. So here we're looking at basically a different filter on the satellite so we can really see where the clouds are. And you can see we have some low clouds and fog across parts of the Puget Sound area that's still continuing to develop here. As I filmed this about 6:30 in the morning here on Friday. Then you can see the reds showing up here are higher clouds. You have some of those over Idaho, and then you have some moving into the area out of British Columbia. Then you can see the remnants of our low center there spinning offshore, and then again that fog starting to develop across the lowlands. So taking a look at the National Weather Service site here, you can see that we do have a dense fog advisory in effect in that gray, bluish gray shaded area there from about the Seattle city limits down toward Portland. And these numbers here we're looking at our visibility, and you can see that there definitely are some areas with low visibility this morning, and there's some low areas of visibility outside of the dense fog advisory as well. So don't be surprised if you have some fog at times, especially in the South Sound. As we go through this morning, you can see Olympia there reporting visibility of about a quarter of a mile this morning, and that may continue over the next few hours here. So taking a look at the forecast for the next few days, we're going to have a ridge starting to build into the area. You can see we don't get it building in yet, and that's why we're going to have some showers through the day, potentially this afternoon and then into Saturday. There may be a question of if the roof is open or not for the Mariners' first playoff game there. But then as we go into Saturday night into Sunday morning, you can see the ridging start to take hold across the northwest, and you can see how that ridge starts to be off to our north and then move right over us as we go through Sunday and Monday and then into Tuesday. And then you can see by late Tuesday into Wednesday, we may have some troughing starting to move down out of the Arctic and out of British Columbia, and that could bring us some more rain. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens with that. But for the next few days, we will likely be under the influence of that ridge, bringing some sunnier skies, a little bit warmer temperatures. And but first we have to get through some of those showers. So let's look at that. So you can see as we go through today on the European model, you get a few showers around the area, and then you can see those showers as we go through Saturday there, and then those diminish. We remain dry Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, and then as we go into Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, you see this system moving down out of British Columbia, bringing some snow to the mountains of BC, some very light snow to the higher elevations of the Cascades, and then bringing some rain at times to Western Washington as we go through Wednesday evening into early Thursday morning. But we have to watch that closely to see how that actually verifies. Taking a look at the NAM model here, high resolution forecast for simulated radar going into 5 to 6 p.m. tonight. You can see it does have some areas of showers across Western Washington overnight, and then you see those continue as we go into Saturday morning. You can see there we have some showers around the area as we go through the time that the Mariners game would be played, but none over Seattle. So we may be able to get the roof open, or it may stay closed. Not really sure. It really depends on how the radar looks as we go into about game time there. And then you can see as we go into Saturday night, into Sunday morning, those showers diminish entirely or just stay relegated to the Cascades, and we should have a pretty nice day there on Sunday. Taking a look at total precipitation here, National Blended Models, high-resolution forecast here, you can see a few hundredths of an inch across the region, enough to wet the ground and cause some drizzle, but not all that much in terms of what we just got. We just got some areas of the Olympics getting over 6 inches of rain in the last few days, lowlands getting about a half inch or so, and then you can see the Cascades getting about a tenth of an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch in some places with some of these showers moving through, but not all that much, so just some drizzle at times across the region. And then taking a look at air quality here real quick. This is we're looking a little bit better here. You can see all of Western Washington, Western Oregon in the good category. You can see where the smoke from the Wildcat Fire and Labor Mountain and Lower Sugarloaf fires is concentrated around parts of the Columbia River, Wenatchee, up toward Leavenworth, and then around Yakima on the Highway 410 corridor, and then over near Ellensburg and Cle Elum a little bit as well. And the rest of eastern Washington, including northeast Washington, that has been just wrecked by fires and smoke over the last few months here, is in the good category. Spokane and Tri-Cities, Walla Walla, everything in the good category. You just have these areas that are still downwind of these smoldering fires that are getting a lot of smoke pumped in. So we'll have to watch this to see how that air quality goes as we go through the next few days here. Now taking a look at temperatures. Here's high temperatures today. You can see likely in the mid 60s for most of western Washington and western Oregon, and you can see upper 50s, low 60s for the coast. As we go into Saturday, with all those showers and clouds moving through, we cool a little bit. Highs in the low to mid 60s across western Washington. A few areas near the water staying in the upper 50s. You can see the coast in the upper 50s to maybe low 60s there. But going into Sunday, we warm up a little bit. Highs back into the mid to upper 60s for western Washington, low 70s for southwest Washington and western and northwest Oregon there. And then you can see along the coast highs in the upper 50s to mid 60s. On Monday, we warm up a little bit further, a little bit offshore flow there under some more ridging. You can see highs in the upper 60s to low 70s across western Washington, maybe some mid 70s southwest Washington and Portland, and then upper 50s on the north coast right along the beaches to upper 60s on the coast inland a little bit. You see same thing there on Tuesday, 70s, a little bit more widespread across western Washington on Tuesday. But then we start to cool down going into Wednesday, back into the mid 60s, and maybe remaining there as we go into Thursday, Friday, cooling down a little bit more with some of those systems moving through. A little bit more uncertain going out that far in the forecast, but generally you can see that warming trend, warmest on Monday and Tuesday of next week with sunny skies. And then taking a look at low temperatures, you'll notice that it will be a bit cooler in the mornings here with some of these clear nights with the sunny skies coming up. So Saturday morning here, you can see with some of those clouds moving through, we remain a little bit warmer, low to mid 50s across the region for lows. You can see as we get to Sunday morning, we start to cool down, those lows into the mid 40s for most of the region. Low to mid 40s there on Monday morning. Even some outlying locations in western Washington could reach the upper 30s. And then note here the fires on the east slopes of the Cascades likely having low temperatures in the mornings in the mid 30s, which is really good to see. And then you can see Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, got a lot more 40s across western Washington. So it really will begin to feel like fall there with those lows in the 40s. And speaking of fall, if you want some nice warm stuff to wear here, I got some hoodies and sweatshirts here on the Western Washington Weather merch store, and for 3 days you can get 20% off of all products. So that is a pretty good deal there to get some nice warm merch. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe here to Western Washington Weather on YouTube and join the Western Washington Weather Facebook group, and then follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter. And also check out the merch store. The links to all of this is in the description below, so go and check that out. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.